Indo-Bangladesh border has seen some conflict recently. Just 2 days back,
China, Pakistan, so-called terrorism in India, and now Bangladesh. So I think three fronts are open. Why South Asia couldn't become European Union? It is, I would say, Indian policy. And Modi said, "ना कोई हमारी सीमा में घुसा है, ना घुसा हुआ है," etc.
there journalists were pointing out, with different arrowheads, like this is where Mr. Jaishankar is sitting, or this is him talking to Mr. Kash Patel and then Vivek Ramaswamy as well. If the entire focus of the MAGA campaign is anti-immigrant, how can you even consider an option like this, that they are going to get close to us?
And if India tries to, again give a flip to this bogey of Banga Bhumi, I'm sure their brothers and sisters in Pakistan are here. We look after. Don't worry, Bangladesh. Just stick to your guns, stand on your feet, and I would say give them a bloody nose.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to the TFT Perspective. So, viewers, the Indo-Bangladesh border has seen some conflict recently. Just 2 days back, reports indicate that there was a clash taking place at the Chicken Neck area, in which a lot of civilians from both sides were also involved. In another news, there are reports that around 5 kilometers stretch of land near Kodalia River has been reclaimed by the BGB, the Bangladesh border guards, and in response, since 1985, India is trying to fence the international border. It's a very huge border, around more than 4,000 kilometers, and it's taking quite some time to do that. We're going to discuss this in other news. This is not the only thing India is facing the heat about. Just in during the Trump's inauguration, we witnessed very familiar faces, especially when it comes to Sikhs for Justice actually attending the Trump inauguration. This indicates that India is being, in a sense, snubbed by the United States. There's no longer cohesion amongst them. Mr. Modi wasn't invited there as well. And we are going to also discuss updates concerning the attempted assassination of Saf Ali Khan and the Bangladeshi question being raised by Indian authorities concerning the citizen involved. So, Mr. Vakar Kori, first, it's quite strange, back in 85, according to Assam Accords, tension seems to be calming, and another issue is a lot of Indian land, whether it be along the Indo-Chinese border or India Bangladesh border or even India Burmese border, it seems to be very less demarcated. A lot of issues regarding immigrants coming from India to Bangladesh or Bangladesh to India. Same goes with lack of security along the India-China border. How do you see things unfolding? Because according to reports now, the clashes are not only between the border security forces of the Indians as well as border management from Bangladeshi side, but now the civilians across both sides of international border are also getting involved.
I think this is the beauty of neighborhood first policy of India. And I don't know how Modi is interpreting it. Neighborhood first means that probably there is a priority to the neighbors. And it means they would like to have good relations with all the neighbors, at least, And who is responsible for denting the Saak spirit and literally made it ineffective, because Pakistan was, I think, few years back supposed to host, and India refused, and then they went up with this absurd idea of BIMSTEC and all that. I think everything is now boomeranging on Modi's face, or Doval's face, the so-called Chankiya of India, that all the neighbors are basically, I would say, angry with India. They are not very comfortable. So quickly, a rundown of what happened to the neighborhood since 1947. When India got independence, Sikkim was absorbed. Bhutan is seminally independent. You've been pushing and isolating Nepal. Then, of course, they had problem with the Bangladesh on Farakha Barrage and Tista issue, and also these enclaves. Then there is definitely, I would say, a bonhomie period with Sheikh Hasina, in which Bangladesh almost becomes a slave. And then there is a revolt in Bangladesh. The young people get up and throw this, I would say, oppressive regime. And now we have Bangladesh now asserting for real independence or real autonomy or real sovereignty. China, we know, they lost Aksai to China. Then they lost in 1962 Himalayan War, a lot of area. And recently, in 2020 June, Colonel Babu and kids were, killed by the Chinese, and India lost. There are different figures, but as per Rahul Gandhi, it is 4,500 square kilometers. And Modi said, ना कोई हमारी सीमा में घुसा है ना घुसा हुआ है, etc. Sri Lanka, Operation Cactus, and then it failed. We saw even Rajiv Gandhi being attempt on his life by Sri Lankan guards in a god of honor, and Indian so-called peacekeeping force getting a bloody nose not only from Sri Lankan army but also from Tamils, because nobody liked their occupation. They landed up in Maldives once to secure, this was again some Operation Pavan, and in that ultimately Maldives is also not very happy. Pakistan, we have a hostile relationship, and now they're trying to find, outer periphery of violence. So this is the so-called neighborhood first policy. And Myanmar, they're crying daily. 40,000 cookies crossing from Myanmar into Mizoram, and they can't do anything about it. So I think these are, I would say, if you look at the root cause of instability in South Asia, why South Asia couldn't become European Union, it is, I would say, Indian policy, so-called Indra doctrine, and now, Dovell's doctrine, that everybody is, and as you mentioned, even in, North America, they are getting a bloody nose from the activists for Khalistan. They've been invited by Mr. Trump. Gurprantham Singh Pannu was there, live telecasting.
I mean, they were boosting figures like Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, Vivek Ramaswamy. We have a very pro-Hindutva cabinet amongst the Trump circles. But we just received news that Mr. Vivek Ramaswamy is now out of the Doge committee. He's going to be contesting for elections as
the carrot has
as
been,
a
I think, handed over to him.
So the MAGA campaign seems to have worked completely against them. And the surprising part was this comes for both Israelis and Indians when it comes to Trump somehow being very supportive for Mr. Modi as well as Mr. Netanyahu. That Six for Justice is a very small group but very active group regarding Khalistanis, was invited in the inauguration, the same inauguration where Jaishankar was also there.
So I think that is the irony. So whether it is look East policy, neighborhood first policy, or look West policy, I think they are in shambles.
And they were also boosting that, it was because of the area was overcrowded. And had Mr. Modi been there, people would have started watching him instead of Donald Trump.
Is it?
Yeah.
So the Howdy Modi rally would have started, in capital of the United States. So I think these are some of the reasons. But coming back to Bangladesh, I think there was definitely a plan of Banga Bhumi right after 71, which India considered they liberated. But now Bengalis have thrown statues of Sheikh Mujib into Bay of Bengal, and two-nation theory is very much alive. So the Banga Bhumi, if you look at these areas, you mentioned that one was along one of the rivers. This is the western border of Bangladesh to West Bengal, and then there is an area north of it like Malda, which actually becomes the base for the so-called chicken neck, because they feel that they can cut it and then give depth to Siriguli corridor in case, God forbid, northwest of Bangladesh is cut. There is an enclave. So one is they have a big passage going to northeast where already Manipur is burning, Nagaland is trying to declare independence. Mizoram chief minister says that we want another state. I don't know what they will do with this land bridge. But in Sheikh Hasina's time, there was an understanding a passage was given through Bangladesh. But now they are trying to actually pose. At times they are supporting Arakan army. Nothing has happened there. Bangladesh borders are secure. The only thing is Arakan army came and occupied their own checkposts. And at times they are saying that India is going to... And there is also, I think, on a lot of... I think Godi media is talking of a war against Bangladesh. And India trying to exploit the situation in Bangladesh. Let's say exploiting the situation as per Godi media, let's say oppression of Hindu community, which is not the case. And they are also targeting the chief executive, Dr. Yunus. And So
embassy was also attacked. High Commission office in
yeah, the Deputy High
Tripura.
Commissioner's office was attacked in Tripura. And these two, I think, skirmishes. A good thing is that it's not only Bangladesh border guard, but also the people of Bangladesh. We could see, carrying
Hmm.
sticks, old and young, all joining and giving them bloody nose. And I think there was an effort to snatch rifle from the BSF by some of the Bangladeshis, right, happening at the zero line. So all told, I think things are heating up, and Bangladesh has to look for options where it can get some security at regional level.
Yeah, the military delegation from Bangladesh did come to Pakistan. It is still there. I'm pretty sure the news is regarding that. Now they're also holding talks with naval officials. So, how important it would be for both Pakistan and Bangladesh to engage in, a military alliance or some kind of a strategic alliance in order to protect each other's interests, especially with the very, I would say, extremist outlet in between.
I think we look at the office of the principal staff officer of the armed forces. I think we mentioned it in one of the vlogs. That he represents the linkages between the political leadership and military leadership, and he has a lot of powers. Although Bangladesh doesn't have a joint staff headquarters, but Armed Forces Division deals with the three services, and rightly so. He's a powerful figure, and now he's been appointed by the current regime. And it means when he comes to Pakistan, he comes on behalf of the chief executive or the prime minister of Bangladesh or government of Bangladesh. Now, if you look at his entourage, because it was, I think, a representation from all the services. And then look at the sequence of, let's say, his meetings. He goes and meets the chairman, Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee, Jan Shamshad, has deliberate discussions. Then comes the meets the army chief. Then it meets the air chief. Also visits some of the, I think, installation of all these services, and then he goes to Karachi to visit dockyard and also some of the ships and capability of Pakistan, and also meeting with the naval chief. So all told, it's a tri-service arrangement. And if you look at, I think, the last press release, the discussion, it is said, focused on enhancing regional maritime security and deepening the defense collaboration between Pakistan and Bangladesh. This is very, very meaningful. Potential areas of cooperation were explored, including joint military exercises, reciprocal visits, training exchange program, and this is basically considered as a significant step. And we would also like to, I think, salute people like Dr. Shahidul Zaman. I think I've seen him very active on social media. It was an honor for us to host him twice, and definitely would like to have more interaction with academia and opinion makers in Bangladesh. And I'm sure our program is now widely watched in Bangladesh and India. Actually, Indians are, I think, more interested. So all told, if you look at the strategic partnership now growing into, I'll not say a kind of military alliance, but definitely strengthening the and if you look at the expertise that Pakistan can offer, there's also talk of JF-17, higher grade aircrafts may be purchased by Bangladesh in not very distant future. Then Pakistan, China and Bangladesh can form a triangle, because by and large these three countries are using equipment which can be, let's say, jointly even manufactured. And good thing is that Bangladeshis also feel now that in case there is a pressure, let's say there is a military pressure, there may be certain options being discussed in India, because if their media is saying it, it means that there is something cooking up. So which is the relief zone for Bangladesh? And I remember 71 was, strategy that defense of East Pakistan lies in West Pakistan. So can that strategy be repeated, that in order to relieve the pressure on Bangladesh, Pakistan can play a role? And basically now we have the third front, as per General G.D. Bakshi and Gaurav Waria: China, Pakistan, so-called terrorism in India, and now Bangladesh. So I think three fronts are open. Hope Sri Lanka doesn't join it. So all told, I think this is a very good omen. Well, not only both the militaries, we had also the Pakistan Federal Chambers of Commerce and Industry going to Bangladesh, the delegation, and they are moving very quickly. There are ships now plying between both countries directly. And then is, I think, our Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Sagdar will be going very soon to Bangladesh, maybe followed by a visit from Dr. Yunus to Pakistan, and then Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif going there. So I think things are moving in correct direction. Unfortunately for India, neighborhood policy has totally failed.
Why is it that Indian necessity comes up with this false bravado? They try to the Indian subscribers need to help me out over here as well. That I was just witnessing on Twitter. Their journalists were pointing out with different arrowheads, like this is where Mr. Jay Shankar is sitting, or this is him talking to Mr. Kash Patel and then Vivek Ramaswamy as well. So overall, even what we discussed concerning the 100 executive orders of Mr. Trump, all of them seem to be against the immigrants. Most of them, whether it be border control, whether it be immigrant children being born on U.S. land or illegal immigrants. And we also know exactly how Indians try to penetrate from Mexico inside America or from Canada to USA by illegal means. And according to many figures, according to Republican figures, there are around 13 million of them illegal immigrants. Maybe more than that, maybe it's 20 million. So if the entire focus of the MAGA campaign is anti-immigrant, how can you even consider an option like this, that they are going to get close to us? We've witnessed the H-1B's issues. Now the snub is coming directly. Let's be frank here. If USA was concerned regarding so-called, wanted terrorists from India, like the Six for Justice or whosoever is wanted by India, how come they invited the Six for Justice, members on Trump's inauguration?
I think Trump has slapped very hard on.
And including, he said that in one of his pressers just recently when he was signing the executive orders, that 100% tariffs on BRIC countries.
Yes. So all truth, I think this is a very, very loaded question. And I think we should start taking it from the first part is what is happening to illegal immigrants in US. Again, we did, I think, a vlog and a podcast on that. That the overall figure is, official figure is 12 million, which is 1 crore 20 lakh in Pakistani, let's say, calculation. And Marco Rubio actually said during a campaign that they are closer to 30 million, that is 3 crore. It's a huge number. And within that, if you look at the nationalities, so Mexico is definitely on the top because Mexico borders. But anybody outside, let's say Americas, is India. So if the official figure is there, then Indians are like 1 million. If the unofficial figure of, let's say, 30 million, then probably they are closer to maybe between 25 to 30 lakh. So that means 2.5 to 3 million Indians illegal. Legal, we know that they run into now, let's say, more than probably a couple of millions actually. But now we're talking of illegal. So it means that Trump is not bothered about, let's say, Howdy Moody and let's say Moody being a good friend and chemistry with then why didn't he invite him if that was the case? So it means that he's going to throw them out. And now India should actually wait. And I'll suggest a place, Dharwi Slum in Mumbai is a huge place. Already we have, I think, 1.5 million people living in the slums. Accommodate them, and Ambani should be tasked to, build some superstructures, high-rise building to accommodate them. They will also do, I think, occupy a lot of space for jobs in India because I think Moody had promised a couple of crores of new jobs. They have not been able to, I think, do even one. So it means that probably there will be pressure on the jobs. So this is as far as illegal immigration. H1B1 visa, we know, despite that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy wanted that it should continue. But within that H1B1, there was exploitation by Indian people who went there. And today they are 76%. So it means out of entire global population, I would say 2/3 is occupied by, or more than that, is by Indians. Why it happened? Because one, of course, somebody said that when they come in and they occupy senior powers,
HR powers, yeah.
So they actually take 100 jobs from the white Americans. There was also, I think, some videos on social media by Indians, that how you will run America, how you're going to, we are the one who, basically contributing to economy. I think this is total nonsense. So H1B1 visa is again going to, I think, come up very soon because Trump has to, and as you mentioned last time, that he's looking at, jobs for the Americans, mainly white Americans, then of course, let's say black Americans, then you have Hispanics and those citizens of India, so America, who are, let's say, legally there, and then it is distributed evenly as per the ethnicity. Now we come to, let's say, issue of basically Six for Justice, as you mentioned, that SFJ convener, Mr. Gurpatwan Singh Pannu was, telecasting live.
He was raising slogans as well.
Yeah. Then connected what happened in Canada, India sending death squad. And then let's talk about BRICS. There's a lot of news coming in BRICS that probably they are going to come up with an alternate currency to dollar. And India was in the forefront. But I think even just after victory of Trump, they started, toning down this rhetoric because they were thinking probably Indian rupee is also going to be an international currency. So Trump, I think, even during signing, somebody asked him, and he very clearly remarked that BRICS, if they try to do it, then hell will actually fall on BRICS, and probably he's going to put. He says that I'll put in a lot of tariffs, because if he says that instead of sanctioning a country, let them come, spend money, and let the money come to America. And I think he has a genuine concern. If you look at import export from India and USA, definitely the balance is in favor of India. So it means that Indian industry is exploiting the American manufacturer. So all told, I think it's a bad time. Maybe Tulsi Gabbard can be there, or Kash Patel. And what is FBI going to do? FBI is going to basically be part of the crackdown on immigration.
Exactly.
Illegal. And if Kash Patel is going to head FBI, it means that ultimately he is going to throw out a lot of Indians. And because the data is going to come from the FBI, who is legal and who is illegal. So it means that Kash Patel will not be doing any favors to India, but maybe throwing out the Indians, because he's going to follow what Trump says. Vivek Ramaswamy has been given a carrot now that okay, you can try and contest election for Senate or something.
So governorship for Ohio.
Ohio. I don't know how Ohioans are going to. So who is left?
What about the Saf Ali Khan issue? I've heard that now they have changed the name from one religion to another, blaming it on Bangladeshis of infiltrating inside India, trying to target Bollywood actors now suddenly. What's the story about?
I think it was expected. Despite that, initially it appeared that probably this was a terrorist attack. Maybe it is a terrorist attack. But I feel there's a lot of noise now coming from India, especially the liberal left is questioning the events, because and then who gets benefit? What's the narrative? Final narrative is that it's an illegal Bangladeshi, basically Muhammad Shehzad, and he changed his name from Vijay Das to Shehzad. He was Vijay Das when after entering India, and he was working. He was working with, I think, some I would say. Some services we provide for the home servants and basically domestic help, as they call it. And he was in Mumbai. But look at the events. One is that this guy who had not seen the residence of Saf Ali Khan in Bandra. Now there are reports that maybe somebody showed him the way. He climbs, 12 stories. And he's a very thin guy. And you look at Saf Ali Khan, is quite stout. And I'm sure Saf Ali Khan had, he's I would say billionaire in terms of, let's say, Indian rupees. He had his guards, he had his security systems, drivers. He's basically from a Nawab family, he's not even a normal actor. Maids, and they basically have a kind of penthouse, so it's a double story, flat. And the flat is a very luxurious flat. I'm sure they have basic locking system that nobody can enter without card or key. And this guy climbs 12 stories, goes there, gets confused, and he stabs Saif Ali Khan and 6 times. He defends it, and then he runs back. If the statement is true that it was for burglary or let's say dacoity, why didn't he pick up a couple of things lying there? It's a rich house, and then he comes down. And at the nick of the time, turns up and shows his face to the CCTV camera to recognize, and he vanishes for 2-3 days. And then there were different stories. Now Saif Ali Khan is injured. He comes down. There are no drivers, no Land Cruisers, no Mercedes, and he has to pick up a rickshaw, And there is a rickshaw driver who doesn't know where to go. Then he asks him. Then he lands up in a hospital. The The doctors say that he was like a hero, and so basically, I think a narrative was being built, like I would say a Bollywood movie, third class script, as they did it in number of false flag operations, and finally, initially they arrest somebody with a Hindu name, then there is a Muslim name, and then this guy doesn't even resemble, from what was visible on the CCTV,
CCTV, yeah.
because the guy looks slightly fair, but he has slightly dark complexion. Anyways, so Vijay Das becomes, now Muhammad Shahzad, and Shahzad Islam or something like that. And there was also, I think, some statement which was later on taken out by the media, that he said, I am being framed actually. But now the people are talking about what was happening. And on 21st, today, Mr. Saf Ali Khan will be discharged from hospital with 6 wounds, and with, I think, almost 2 inches, part of the blade of the knife left inside, very close to his spinal cord. And he's all right. He's going to walk back, and everything will be hunky dory. I think this is a huge false flag operation. Mainly is that what is the narrative which has finally come out? There is a Bangladeshi illegal immigrant, and they are involved into heinous crimes. They are involved into terrorism. Now link it with what we discussed, the border tension, Bango Bhumi. So has this case become, a kind of corollary for more pressure on Bangladesh? And are they also going to throw out, let's say, whatever they say, illegal Bangladeshi immigrants into India? Is it going to pick up a wave to put pressure? So I think, all told, this is a very, very poorly orchestrated drama, and Bangladesh should be very, very careful. And if India tries to, again give a flip to this bogey of Banga Bhumi, I'm sure their brothers and sisters in Pakistan are here. We look after. Don't worry, Bangladesh. Just stick to your guns, stand on your feet, and I would say give them a bloody nose.
Yeah, so that's it for today, folks. Please do leave a like and subscribe our channel. Thank you so much for watching us. Bye bye.